Psychologist, professor, scientist, and podcast host who specializes in Black health and well-being. And if you're here to learn. So let's talk about how this respectability politics began as a response to racism and violence and ended up shaping how we see ourselves, our emotions, our worth, and how we can learn to let it go. Respectability politics came from a real place of fear and strategy. After enslavement and Jim Crow and the Great Migration and segregation, survival often depended on being seen as acceptable by European American society. Dressing a certain way, speaking a certain way, hiding emotion was meant to protect us from violence and systemic punishment. Our parents and great-grandparents, they were trying to live another day and keep their children and great-grandchildren alive. They believed that success and good manners and silence could protect their children from harm and discrimination. But here is the cost. When generations are told that emotions are weakness, that we must outperform oppression, or that seeking therapy is shameful, we inherit anxiety and suppression, and we often misinterpret them as strength. Survival tactics can't be confused with liberation strategies, and we need liberation. So what kept them alive is now keeping us emotionally stuck. And what I see happening is we start to police each other instead of the systems that created the harm in the first place. And the internalized messages that our worth is conditional creates and maintains pain and emotional distance across generations. So we wear masks to seem respectable, while anxiety and depression and PTSD and learning disorders and autism and so many more go untreated. And when we pass those lessons down, don't air out our business, act right in front of company, don't be too loud, too emotional, too Black. We are not teaching manners or politeness. We're teaching oppression. You will never be respectable enough for a people who don't see you as human. You will never be quiet enough for people who don't want to hear you speak. You will never be successful enough to outwork a system that's built to exploit your labor. And you will never shrink yourself small enough to fit into someone else's idea of safety. You can never tap dance enough for someone who wants to chop your legs off. So let's talk about how we start to fix it. We address respectability politics by naming it and challenging it and choosing something freer. That means showing our emotions, seeking assistance when needed without guilt, and letting people see us rest, and still we call that strength. So here's what I want you to do, Black people. This is for us. I want you to drop in the comments one rule you were taught, maybe one that used to sound like wisdom, but was really fear, and what you're replacing it with. That centers healing, not performance, because our peace deserves to be public and we can write messages together. So start below. Respectability